Hello, today we are looking at retaking our Unit 1C test. Just part of it, this was the third part on scientific notation. So we are converting between scientific notation and standard form. So before we start, scientific notation is just a number written. If there's no decimal, we can assume it's at the end. Like this is 77,700,000 and nothing. There's no point something, like a part of a whole number. Same thing here, decimals at the end. This one is a decimal, so they already put it there for you. So be careful. That one already has a decimal there. Down here we have standard form. So standard form, we always have a number out front. In front we have a number that's greater than 1 but less than 10, so we say a number between 1 and 10. And then we need to think, how many times do we have to multiply that number by 10 or move our decimal so that we get back to the original number. So the exponent up here is going to be a positive number if it's a really big number because we're multiplying over and over and over. If it's a negative, that means it's going to be a really small number because negative exponents really mean you're dividing over and over and over, making it smaller. So we need a number, if we look at number 12 here, a number between 1 and 10. So for the moment, I'm going to ignore my zeros, and we have 777. That number is not between 1 and 10, but I need to put a decimal here so that it is between 1 and 10. If I put it here, that would be 77.1. We don't want that. That's not between 1 and 10. But if I put it here, 7.77, that is between 1 and 10, like $7.77. So if we have 7.77, I need to think, how many times do I need to multiply that by 10? So I get back to my original number. Oops. So I'm just going to move this down a little bit so I can see. We had 7.77. We need to multiply by 10. If we move our decimal from between the two sevens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times to get it back to where we started. So that one just happened to be a lot of sevens there. Next, number 13. We don't have a number between 1 and 10. We need to get a number between 1 and 10. So ignoring the zeros right now, we have 23. 23 is not between 1 and 10. But if I put the decimal between, 2.3 is between 1 and 10. So how many times do I need to multiply 2.3 by 10 in order to get back to 23,000? So we put the decimal between the 2 and the 3. If we move it 1, 2, 3, 4, we'll go back to where we started. So our exponent should be a 4. Notice it's not 4 zeros, there are only 3 zeros. It's how many spots or how many times are we moving the decimal. So be careful. Next, we have a really small number, so I know right away that my exponent is going to be a negative. If I ignore the zeros, I have 4,356. That number is not between 1 and 10. If I put my decimal here, we have 4.356, which is between 1 and 10. So how many times do I need to multiply this, or really divide, by 10 to get it back to where we started? Well, we're going to move our decimal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times to get back to where we started. We move to the left on our number line, which is towards the negative numbers, or think it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. We moved our decimal to the left to get back to where we started. Reset. So I know it's kind of hard to see on here, but again, our decimal was here and we moved it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times to get back right there to where the decimal began. Now we're going to work in the opposite direction. They're giving us scientific notation and we need to convert to standard form, just a number. So we're going to start by writing the decimal 8.89. And we're really going to be, I'm going to move it over here a second, making this number smaller because our exponent here is a negative. So we know we're really dividing by 10 5 times. We're making it smaller. We're going to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. That's where our decimal is. And every time we have a loop, we're going to fill it in with a 0. So we had 4 zeros. We had 0.0000889. If you want to rewrite it, you can. Our decimal is only here. We are done with the decimal there. Same thing in the middle. We have a 5.2. And we need to think, how many times am I going to move my decimal? And we're multiplying by 10 7 times. To the right would make our number bigger, or multiplying bigger. 2 times 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now our decimal's over here. Fill in our loops with zeros. If you want to rewrite it, 5, 2, and then we only wrote 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros because one of the spots was taken up by moving from the 2. So every 3 you put a comma, that would be 52 million. The last one, we have 3.12, just write the number, and we're moving our decimal 3 times. It's a negative, so I know it's going to be really small. If I move it to the right, my answer is going to get bigger, so I don't want that. Moving to the left would make it smaller. Think of your number line. Smaller numbers are towards the left. 1, 2, 3 times, and we fill in our loops with zeros. So we have 2 zeros and then 3, 1, 2. So no, it's not 3 zeros, it's 3 spots. We're moving the decimal 3 times. So this would be your best answer.